By-polls in 4 Lok Sabha seats today aren't big enough to be called a litmus test for 2019. But the Saffron Party will have to win at least 2 of the 4 if it wants to maintain the symbolic majority. In North India, as temperatures hover around 45 degrees Celsius, predictions promise no respite. We explain why heatwave season has become an annual occurrence in the region. And it's literally behind enemy lines that India and Pakistan's former intelligence chiefs got together to write a book, Big Revelations and Controversy Ahead. It's Monday, May 28th.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि
It has been 4 years since Prime Minister Narendra Modi won a whopping 282 seats in the Lok Sabha, becoming the first leader to cross the 272-seat halfway mark in 30 years. But as he enters year 5, Modi faces an electoral test that may not change the numbers much, but has plenty of symbolic significance. 4 Lok Sabha seats go to the polls today, as well as a clutch of assembly seats across the country. None of the races will make a huge difference to overall outcomes, but the results might mean the difference between whether the Bharatiya Janata Party maintains its simple majority in the Lok Sabha or not. Since its massive win in 2014, the BJP has continued its march through India, picking up state assemblies left and right. But it has steadily given up ground within the Lok Sabha, losing in 6 by-polls after MPs either resigned or died. With 8 seats currently vacant, the BJP's count in the lower house is 272, at the halfway mark if you count the speaker who can vote in case of a tie. Add in the fact that the BJP has itself suspended one of its members, Kirti Azad, and another, Shatrughan Sinha, is considered a rebel, and that leaves the BJP precariously poised if you don't count any of the allies. It still has a simple majority, since the overall strength of the house is lower. But the Saffron Party will have to win at least 2 of the 4 that are going to polls today if it wants to maintain the symbolic majority. Here are the 4 Lok Sabha races for today. Nagaland. The sole Lok Sabha seat in Nagaland is up for grabs after nephew Ryu resigned to contest state elections and then became the chief minister. His alliance, backed by the BJP, is expected to win, and if it does, it will not make a difference to BJP numbers in the Lok Sabha. Palghar, Maharashtra. This election might be a prelude to what Maharashtra polls will look like for the next few years, since the BJP-Shiv Sena breakup is going to be tested for the first time. The Sena has put up the son of the BJP MP who died, necessitating the election in the first place, while the BJP has fielded a Congress turncoat. Those two go up against a Congress candidate supported by the NCP for a proper 3-way fight. Bhandara-Gondia in Maharashtra. This one is more straightforward. The seat fell vacant after the BJP MP switched to the Congress. The battle is between the NCP candidate who is supported by the Congress and the BJP. Kairana, Uttar Pradesh. Considering the attention that was showered on Phulpur and Gorakhpur, 2 other Uttar Pradesh seats where a SP-BSP combination defeated the BJP earlier this year, this is likely to be the most closely watched race. Here the BJP is up against a candidate from the Rashtriya Lok Dal who is directly supported by the SP and indirectly by the BSP and the Congress who did not put up candidates. The results might help strengthen the anti-BJP alliance in Uttar Pradesh. Modi and the BJP President Amit Shah spent the day of their 4th anniversary saying that their return to power in 2019 was not a challenge, but a certainty. Today's elections may be too small of a test to say anything conclusive about the BJP's national popularity, but it might provide a small indication of which way the wind is blowing. A few years ago, it had become so hot in Delhi that it looked like the roads were melting. Temperatures in the capital have been so high over the last week that one wouldn't be surprised to see the roads go all wobbly again. The mercury has hovered at around 44 degrees all week, with Palam on Delhi's outskirts even recording 46 degrees. Although initial predictions suggested the worst will be over by Sunday, SkyMed Weather, a private forecaster, said over the weekend that the heat would persist over central, north and west India and might even go as high as 47 degrees. As per the weatherman, isolated dust storms are likely to make an appearance over Delhi by the end of the month. Until then, no relief is likely from Delhi heat. Why is this happening? Actually, the heatwave season in north and central India, which has become an annual occurrence, was delayed this year. Peculiar thunderstorms and dust storms with tremendous winds and lightning ravaged North India over April and May, killing 124 people and leaving a trail of devastation in the process. Those storms have confounded weather scientists who have been unable to say exactly why there have been so many intense ones this year. But they have now given way to dry and hot winds, coupled with clear skies and scarcity of moisture from Delhi and Haryana all the way down to Vidarbha. These conditions cause heat waves when temperatures are markedly above the normal number because of a number of things. Global warming is one of them, but local factors play into it as well, particularly heat islands, which are large built-up urban areas replacing what used to be trees, lakes and open spaces. These trap heat and drive up temperatures even at night. Hope comes in the form of monsoon, which with moisture and hopefully rain will drive down the temperature. But in today's India, that just means moving from one form of extreme weather to another. More and more, the monsoon season brings with it stories of flooding from across the country that cause death and destruction. The depressing cycle tends to go like this: heat waves in the summer, floods in the monsoon, and cold waves as well as pollution in the winter. And things are not expected to get better anytime soon. Studies suggest that heat waves will only get worse, pollution is not going anywhere, and our cities are woefully unprepared for the floods that now seem inevitable. What happens when you put former chiefs of Indian and Pakistani intelligence agencies and an Indian journalist in the same room? Surprisingly, a jointly authored book and a controversy. Lieutenant General Asad Durrani, who ran Pakistan's inter-services intelligence in the 1990s, and A.S. Dulat, former head of India's intelligence agency, the Research and Analysis Wing, teamed up for a series of conversations that were published under the title The Spy Chronicles, Raw ISI and the Illusion of Peace earlier this month. The conversations could not take place in either India or Pakistan, so instead the former spy chiefs met in cities across the world, from Istanbul to Bangkok to Kathmandu. The dialogue, mediated by journalist Aditya Sinha, covers a huge swathe of topics from Kashmir to Osama bin Laden to Kulbhushan Jadhav, the man who has been sentenced to death in Pakistan on accusations of spying for India. The book's unexpected co-authors have naturally earned it plenty of headlines, but the content does not disappoint. Durrani, for example, reveals that Pakistan helped the US attack Osama bin Laden but chose not to tell the world. He also made an interesting revelation when asked about the ISI's biggest failure. Dulat, meanwhile, is quoted saying about Kulbhushan Jadhav, "As you can expect with something like this, the book has not gone unchallenged. Durrani has been summoned to the Pakistan Army headquarters today to give an explanation for the views attributed to him in the book." Pakistan's former Senate Chairman Raza Rabbani even said that if a politician or civilian had written the book with an Indian, they would have been charged with treason. Durrani will now have to explain to the army how his comments do not violate Pakistani laws. Dulat, who has been a vocal commentator since his retirement, seems to have escaped a similar fate so far. But considering the nature of relations between the two countries, don't expect the controversy to die down anytime soon. Move over, web hacking. Biohacking is the new cool. Did you know scientists are hacking genes to make cancer-curing medicines, self-killing mosquitoes, and, well, uploading data into living cells? All of this is possible because of the revolutionary gene editing tool called CRISPR, an acronym for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. The name may sound complicated, but its function is quite simple. In fact, a Danish dairy company has been using the technology to extend the shelf life of their yogurts and cheese. And last year, scientists used CRISPR to upload a GIF into a living cell. You heard that right. Not only did they upload the files, they were also able to download them from copies of the same bacteria. This is what they uploaded. And this is what they downloaded from the multiplied cells. Incidentally, this clip is the first example of a moving picture taken by Edward Muybridge in 1887. Fittingly, the researchers chose it to be the first GIF to be stored in a living cell. CRISPR has been used to remove HIV from infected cells and will probably facilitate organ transplants from pigs to humans one day. CRISPR is actually a bacteria's defense mechanism against a virus attack. A scissor-like protein in the bacteria called Cas9 snips the DNA of the invading virus, preventing its replication, then stores the DNA for the future like a wanted poster. Using this method, researchers converted the image into genetic code and stored it in the DNA of the bacteria. But this is not the first time we've stored data in DNA. Before this, researchers had stored a music video by OK Go and the book War and Peace by Tolstoy inside synthetic DNA. The storage capacity of DNA is enormous. 1 gram of DNA can store up to 2,200 TB of data, while the latest flash drives can store less than 1 TB per square inch. But don't throw away your memory cards as yet. Currently in its nascent stage, DNA storage is slow, cumbersome, and expensive. And right before we leave, Ireland voted an overwhelming yes to do away with their draconian anti-abortion laws. It's been a long fight for these women. But finally, they have won the absolute right over their own bodies. More tomorrow.